bottom of the table team in their group, so to be quite fair, it should be expected that they look this strong.
I also liked how you called them good old Xavier, because they used to be called Xavier Young. So it's like...
That's actually true, yeah. I kind of forgot about that.
Grown up a lot.
And wizened up. You can see the maturity here. Olivier, by the way, coming in for Saijin God. Otherwise, no real substitutions to speak of.
And that's already Tay getting picked off. GNX catching that one. Just looking for another angle now. But Xavier have been able to bypass this defensive point here. Queen just getting kind of pulled away and away and away. Gonna have to charge back in to regroup the team, and does so, catching onto Xenoflare as well.
Insane.
That's pretty ideal. That actually just helps even up the balance situation, the numbers situation indeed, because remember, Tay was picked off. He has now respawned. The Tacorn down, but traded back for Bubble Kitty as Patapan starts to get in the thick of things. Losing that tank line really hurts Xavier here though, but Olivier lasting long enough that it looks like he'll be able to get back in the mech, and Patapan has held down the fort, just drilling damage into these tanks from Incipience. I think Xavier will be able to take this one out.
Well, the big problem is Incipience lost their one healer, Fearless, on the Mercy. Without him, you got no healing whatsoever. This is a one support defense. And so Xavier found the exact pick they needed. Almost doesn't matter what happens after that. As long as they get the Mercy down, they will break that defense. And Patapan already in position.
I love it.
It's got a secret mission.
He's also coming up on a Death Blossom as well. Oh, Earth Shatter is in. Here's Patapan ready to clean it up. Charge in from Ambition is good. Does also take that Death Blossom off the table, but honestly, now Ambition is going to go down to Queen. Xavier are on the point. They are set up. They should just be able to close out these last few members, start ticking that progress up, and then it's all a matter of managing the respawns out from Incipient. Xavier should be able to cap this one out altogether before too long.
I want to say here, so it shouldn't be too difficult to manage these respawns, because Patapan's about back now. Death Blossom will be in effect. Doesn't even have to use it just yet. The rally came out earlier to really beef up the squad, and Incipient's not getting any counter trades.
Didn't even need it, just uses it so that they can at least absorb, I suppose, that defense matrix, waste the time. Dude.
He just shadow steps 1 meter ahead of himself.
Watch out. Spooky. I like how they still give him Halloween skins. Like, he's already the spooky one, but they're like, let's make him even
spookier.
More, even spookier.
3 spooky, 5 me.
The spookiest of all. 69 spooky, 420 me.
Flays it. Xavier Esports now on the defense, Incipience on the attack. You okay there, buddy?
yeah, this is how overtired I am. I found that genuinely funny.
Yeah, good, good. I'm targeting you here specifically.
Appreciate that.
There's 2 maps left, 1.5 maps left, and I got a few more in the back burner, and I'd like to see
just in case.
Catch you up.
Yeah, you want Incipience to win, just so we go.
I like to go to map 5.
You just, I mean,
because Ilios is where I got my coup de grace for you, so just wait for it.
I mean, I don't not want to go to map 5 because I do always like close series, but I am also very tired.
Of seeing 4 and O's. I'm tired of that.
I'm tired of seeing 4 O's. Let's go to a map 5.
I want to definitely want to.
I'm sick and tired.
It's towards the end.
Esports.
It's towards the end. It's closer end of the season where we are starting to see some more of these 4 O's in regard, like for example, last week, Uncle Attitude got that 4 and 0, Monster Shield 4 and 0 New Paradigm, which is probably not too unexpected, but to be quite fair, we've also had some very non-4 0 results. There have been some map 5s in there.
I mean, we've really had the variance. You know, we've
even had a 2-1.
We've had some. We've had some good close series that have gone the full distance, and then we've had our fair share of good old-fashioned 4 Overwatch. And I feel like every tournament needs that. You know, you need a good variety in there.
Yeah.
You deliver.
Bubble Kitty is going to be on this Reaper now, so actually seeing a lot more Reaper play specifically onto this map. We did remember Huss playing the Reaper on Anubis as well. I like to see when you got Reaper and Hog, it's the double shotgun composition. Patapan doesn't care.
Yeah, Patapan will headshot you. Doesn't matter what weapon you got. I wonder what shampoo Widowmaker uses, because she's got a lot of hair and she keeps it very lustrous. I'd like to purchase that same shampoo.
Your lustrous hair.
my lustrous locks.
No one can hide from my sight.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Had an enemy scene.
That was incredible. Killed the one ginger too. How do you think that makes
Well,
me
THK
feel?
did also blade in terms of that, so that was the one shutdown. It was one of those things where you do get caught in that charge as well. Incipience here, 1 minute already off the clock, haven't really made too much headway. One ultimate available now, Coalescence onto Xeon Flux, but they kind of just stuck. They're almost just stuck in these entryways, in their base, in their spawn. Ambition really pressured out. Pattypan's been hitting a ton of shots, even if he's not getting kills. Just landing shots, just damaging Incipience is considerably slowing them down. Look at that.
And then you also land the headshots, so
yeah,
but
a good decent amount of time.
The thing is, you're completely right. It slows Incipience down. It means they're never at enough health to actually safely engage at all. And it's also setting Xavier up in these sorts of situations where if they want, they can just get that little bit more aggressive and just clean up all the kills that they've done the groundwork for. Yeah, this feels.
And that's the thing, the theme of this does feel, you know, if you're on the incipient side, you start to wonder, you start to ask yourself, what do we even do? Nice front flip there, Xenofly there.
That was sick.
Good gymnastics.
When I die, I want to front flip like that.
Someone's semi-front flipping. I'll even take a back flip.
In my death throws, I want to front flip.
But the thing is, if you're an incipient, the good news is you're starting to build up towards ults. The bad news is you've really not made any distance yet.
Well, there's the res onto THK, so Xavier at their full fighting force. Now it's a question of will they be able to get those picks once again on Incipience. 1 for 1. Incipience have got a lot of ultimates stacked up. You'd like to think that they can push it through. And
I'd like to see them use the ultimates.
They lose Fearless. That's the thing. They've got to use those ultimates, but Bubble Kitty's low. THK and an Earth Shatter, but it doesn't matter. Xavier have already got the kills coming in.
1 tick.
Incipience, yeah, they do have the 1 tick, but that's all they've got.
You'll take at least that, because that was very nearly not even 1 tick, and then you get nothing. You fought that entire commitment, a long rotation, going to the point, avoiding the fight, then to not even get 1 tick would certainly hurt that offense, but that means they've made progress, and that's the main thing. Look at that slow ball just coming at you.
And Pattypan didn't even do anything to avoid it.
It's the slowest thing possible. You knew it was happening.
I can't believe
he just stood there.
He actually died to it. It's like scoped it and everything, so it's like magnified. He sees it coming from miles away. Oh man, he saw that one coming from a mile away.
Well, this is the feeling of hopelessness right now. If you're in Incipience Esports, your Xeon Flux, your team is dead, you're still using Coalescence. Maybe you're changing heroes at this stage, and I'd say a Mercy would probably work quite well because you do want to buff up GNX in terms of damage. You do also want to sort of slow down these picks that are getting picked out. You need to start resurrecting some of these in, otherwise Pattypan's getting away with way too much.
Gonna go ahead, pop over to the Brigitte instead.
I don't know if that's gonna help.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the same. They've kind of got this weird not goats. It's like they want to play that same kind of fast,
different animal
team comp, but yeah, this is not even a cool animal. This is like a
a goat's a cool animal?
Aardvark or something.
CHK and Aardvark is very cool.
Alright, sure. I mean, they did just win the map, so sure. And with that, Xavier also win the series. Congratulations. Now it's a question of whether or not it'll be a 4-0. It really did. I'm surprised it's over. It's like, oh, right, okay.
It was one of those full holds where it kind of just feels like we're back on Lijiangtao, and that's the disappointing part because you go to Eichenwalde and you start to feel like, okay, getting some progress here from the incipient side. They are making headway. They are pushing Xavier. Xavier having to respond now in a more serious way where it doesn't just feel effortless. Go on to Temple of Anubis. Look at that A defense. Effortless would probably be the word to describe that. It feels like cities. It feels like a control center all over again, where they're just capping you at the spawn, just constantly walling up another Bionade, just constant ultimates flying through, no pressure, and no sweat off their back.
Yeah, it feels like Incipients are just throwing themselves at the wall and knowing as well that that's what they're doing. Like they're aware that they're just kind of, you know, they're throwing it at the wall to see what sticks, and it's rough, and it's a really numbing way to play as well. But unfortunately, in this situation, it's kind of the only thing Incipients have going for them. I think compositionally there were some better things they could have been doing, but they weren't doing things terribly. It is just coming down to execution. They are getting out-executed. They are getting outplayed.
And the one time I will admit that Incipience definitely outplayed Xavier Esports, was the opposite, is on that icon wall, the A attack, where they notice, okay, this is what Xavier going to run, so if we go to full dive here, first of all, not playing the fire means we're not going to get countered by Panic-Man's Widow, which, as we can see here on Temple of Anubis with the victory, was super effective. But not only that, you also have this dive composition that just entirely counters out what Xavier want to do. That's the kind of Incipience that you want to see, where they really recognize what is happening on the defense, and then they can just execute against it. And Route 66 now, map number 4, maybe their last chance. This is definitely the last time we're seeing Incipience for the season. After this matchup, I mean, the next time we'll see them will be in Trials, so for their final showing in Contenders Season 2, it's going to be on Route 66, and it's got to be good.
That's the thing. It is the last hurrah. It's got to be better than anything else they've done, if nothing else. I mean, even Eichenwalder had some decent moments on it. I want to see at least a repeat affair, because if they can't do that on at least one other map, and keep in mind, Eichenwalder was a map they lost, then it really doesn't bode well for Incipience. You have to just be frank in saying that.
The other thing is, unlike previous matches that we had, where Mega and Blank were on the losing sides, we said for those teams, these were winnable positions. This is where you expect both Mega and Blank to be able to pick up maps. I don't think we can say that of Incipience in this series so far. At no point has it looked like this is truly winnable. The closest map Eichenwalder, you'd say it was a good effort, but it was still Xavier favored. It was still in Xavier's court, their side of the court, for them to win. It wasn't really in Incipience's, which is the really unfortunate thing, because unless you see it now, I mean, you're not seeing it at all.
Yeah, and that's the truth right there. I mean, and I'll be honest as well, I don't think we're going to see it. That's the reality. I don't think we're going to see it here.
I don't think Xavier will allow it.
Yeah, and it's not going to give permission. Yeah, they got to fill out the form, and then Xavier just like, no, sorry, I don't like how you fill out that form. Just some arbitrary reason, like even when you finally fill out the right form, like, no, sorry, took too long, clerical error. It's like when you're trying to
only specific, yeah.
You know, like you're trying to like load a page on a website or something, like an important thing, and then it's just like, oh, you timed out. It's like, no, you timed out. You stopped trying. Don't make this out like it's my fault. Is there a Route 67?
Let's hope that I don't know. Is there?
Why don't
I've never thought to check.
Why don't you know the answer to these questions?
But we do know there was a Route 666.
Yeah, 666. Yeah, not anymore though. People thought it was cursed. Sick guitar solo.
Have we seen any of those Deadlock guys?
Not one.
Graffiti on the wall there.
Not one. I would like to see a character from the Deadlock. I suppose McCree kind of counts, but I'd like to see like a still active member.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
See, you got Junkers. Obviously got the Talon.
Or as I like to call them, Junkers.
Junkers from Junkertown.
Yeah, that's Junkertown. I'm probably just really upsetting some German viewer. He's like tuned in during his work day. He's like, what's this?
My best
Came here for a good time.
5, 4.
That's what Xavier came here for, and Incipience are delivering that good time so far. Because
Incipience came here for a good time, and they're not having it. They are not getting that good time.
Alright, so this composition now coming out of good old Xavier, who, by the way, Saijin God now coming back in for Olivier, so
welcome back.
No Dreamer at all today.
Nope, he's asleep.
Again, we are seeing just some good sort of flexibility here. 30 Corn going to be able to Diana, no Mercy here to play with. Widow Genji, but not quite a dive, so on one hand it looks a little bit strange because it doesn't feel like this can't really mesh as well, but at the same time I'd like to see what they can achieve with
it. I mean, they've shown some very intelligent decision making as it is, and what team comps they run and why, and I mean, they're making it work, right? THK getting the catches, popping Xenofly with the headshot after he gets D-Max means They have the numbers advantage to move forward like this relatively safely, make that space for themselves to start capping out with that cart.
I'll be all honest with you, the pick that really surprises me more is Bubble Kitty on Sombra, because it's not 2017 anymore.
Yeah.
And
the time Bubble Kitty.
it just seems that one does seem a little bit more strange. You're also at the stage now with Xavier. I'm not even too sure if it really matters what they're running. They're sort of just able to walk through here. Ambition now bionated, anti-healed again for almost a second time in a row. Bubble Kitty's going to go down without even being anywhere close to an EMP. And on some level, it doesn't feel like Incipience were really even here on this defense. The cart just casually strolls through, finishes that cap.
Yeah.
Barely a defense.
It's like a bus that's running weirdly on time. Just kind of keeps moving forward, gets the next stop. You know. Oh, well, it's here. Okay. Well, I expected there'd be more traffic or it'd be late or something, but no, all right, no resistance, it's here.
Cleared the road for Xavier Esports today.
Put out the cones, got the traffic permits, dude out in the fluoro vest.
Police escort.
Got a stop-go sign.
Yes, EMP is now available, but it could not have come at a better time where there are a lot of Xavier ultimates, but this is going to be the grab first. It's going to catch a decent number of
And
hits.
it's going to kill Bubble Kitty as the first casualty of that as well, which is about as rough as it gets when you consider they've been holding on to wanting to get that EMP out for so long now. That is practically a full team wipe for the side of Xavier, and again, the payload keeps moving forward. That's what's really happening here.
The other thing is, Incipience is sitting on nearly 6 ultimates here, at least 5 after Fearless gets this Transcendence. And they haven't used anything, they haven't had the opportunity to use anything. THK is in the opponent's base. He's actually just spawn camping as a Widowmaker while the fight's on B.
I mean, that's the thing. Incipients have to rush for this payload, otherwise they just give it up altogether, which means they can't actually turn around and address THK. They know he's there, they just can't do anything about him.
For ults used, Xavier still cleaning up.
They've still got ults of their own as well, by the way. And now THK is going to set up far forward once again. And, I mean, it's not quite going to be spawn camping, but it's still getting those early shots, getting those picks. Yeah. Just paving the way.
I mean, this is like Pine levels of flanking for the Widowmaker, where it's super dangerous, but it works out because he's read the situation correctly, and he's got the aim to back it up as well. And for Xavier Esports, again, they're just so far ahead in every single regard. Incipience is so far behind that it feels like Xavier can just get away with anything they want. And a sleep dart.
And a sleep dart. All that
and an anti-heal.
All that and a sleep dart.
All for the low price of $9.99.
Free payment installations.
Nearly at another grab, and nearly at some big uses here, big ultimates. That's a Dragon Blade. Doesn't even need a nano boost. Save that one for later.
Doesn't need any kind of setup, in fact, to get a 3K. It almost feels like Incipients are just kind of rolling over and letting it happen.
There's one response, finally.
Yeah, Bubble Kitty gets him down, right? But look, the damage is done. They're making progress. They're moving forward, and Bubble Kitty's going to go down anyway. Quick, just finally.
That was the slowest passage of just like whack, 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 and
grab
suddenly
out in front of the base means no one's really going to be able to get onto this payload to contest it. Queen's sitting here with an Earth Shatter as well. Xeon Flux knows. He knows he can't get out of this. Oh, that is so rude.
Disgusting. And look at that, Sleep Dart DMAC. You don't see that every single day. Into an anti-heal.
Into a bio-grenade kill. And then Tay gets 2.
That's one of those rare kill feed moments that you get.
Like I want to playing kill feed bingo.
Good news is we did pause sort of as it all finished, so nothing is going to get disrupted there. Get a little bit of time for us and Incipience to just think about what was that.
Process what just it almost feels like Incipience are just kind of they've just gone belly up at this point. They've rolled over, and I'm not meaning to say that like they're giving up or anything, but the resistance is just not there anymore, and it's kind of unfortunate. Like, it's just, honestly, at this point, Xavier have given them such a shellacking. They've just got nothing left in them.
Which is strange, because this actually now starts to feel like, you know, I would still say Lijiang Tao was definitely the most one-sided, but I mean, Temple of Anubis, there was more fight than this.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, I mean, Lijiang Tao felt one-sided because Xavier were just playing that much better. This feels one-sided because Incipients are playing that much worse.
And Iconwalder is essentially where you'd at least want to be for both teams, I'd say. I mean, less so for Xavier, who would just like to clean this up 4-0 as quick as they can. They're certainly looking like they can do that, and they're even attacking first, and really extending the map out. I mean, they could be defending first, and then get that first hole. Assuming they do get the first hole, when they did that on Temple of Anubis, you can assume they could do it again.
You like to think so.
And now it's straight from that A attack to B to C. Everything so far has just been the cart continuing to move through. No response, like no real stoppage right there. Most of the Xavier team are playing so far ahead of the cart. But the cart itself is just kind of, again, no resistance. THK as the Widowmaker is in the C point while the fight is taking place on B, and spawn capping as a Widowmaker, getting headshot kills while Incipience are reinforcing the cart.
It's like the cart's just sort of rolling forward, and all the fighting is just happening around it, but nothing's on the cart. It's just going, just sure and steady, like some dude wheeling a fruit cart through a war zone or something. Like just it's kind of what it feels like.
To make it back to Temple of Anubis, where all the fruit stands.
All the fruit stands, exactly. They keep getting destroyed. We do just have a pause coming out right now, so should be able to get that sorted out underway. Get the last half of this last match of the second to last day of the regular season done and dusted. We're nearly there.
Nearly at the end. And with that, like we did also mention here, last showing for Incipience. Not the last for Xavier because they will be going to playoffs, but when we look at the teams that we know are definitely going to trials, I mean, you now have to kind of make the comparison between this and Chaos Theory, where Chaos Theory had, to be quite honest with you, a really, really, slow start to the season. That probably is a nice way to put it, but towards the end, picked up a couple of wins. You can't say the same for Incipience. They just don't have that going for them.
And that's the reality. Chaos Theory were like genuinely winning, and they were winning good matches. They were winning in such a way that it was like, had they been winning that way from week one, they would have made playoffs. And that's the other thing you can't really say for Incipience here as well. Like, excuse me, even when they've had glimmers of hope, even when they've had the good showings, the good fights, all that jazz, right? There is no point where you can really look at it and go, okay, if they'd done this a bit more, they would be able to make it to playoffs, because it's like they weren't even really doing it enough to win individual maps or indeed, a bunch of series or anything. It's just been like it's been individual fights within the scope of a map within a match. It's not been enough to actually count for anything. And I don't mean to say it may as well have not been there, but it is definitely not comparable to a team that was actually genuinely playing with a consistency of execution to actually win matches.
All right, let's get back into the match now.
Oh, round complete.
As a reminder, the round did complete. 3 points collected, 3 points capped out for Xavier. 3:22 remaining, which is a very good time. Consider that there's only 8 minutes total for the entire map, and I mean, you did it just over 50%. That is 4 minutes and 38 seconds, if my maths is correct. So,
I hope it is. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to check here on that one.
All right, well,
if your math is wrong, then you just got to live by that.
I'm glad we cleared that up.
And I do think there is a world in which, honestly, Incipients just don't cap this out in the first place. The question is where.
I mean, that's Temple of Anubis.
Yeah, the question is where, because, I mean, it even feels that Xavier could do this on point A as well. And if not, I do see them doing it on point B somewhere. And in the outside chance that they do fully cap out, again, like 3:22, that's an incredible amount of time left on the clock. You've still got to favor Xavier coming into the time bank.
Well, most teams that finish this entire map do so in overtime or with less than 1 minute remaining. So to see 3:22 is a very good time because, again, there was barely a defense there, and Xavier still get it in 3:22. You pretty much don't see a time under 4 minutes. Rather, 4 minutes for the total attack, giving them more than 4 minutes in the time bank. So,
attackers incoming.
This is an interesting defense here for Xavier. Actually, they're running.
Oh my! They figured it out. If they have read that there is a potential Bastion coming out the other side, the May pick is 100% the best pick for them, and they could have just predicted this entire thing, which would be incredible.
I wonder. Like, I wonder if this is just GNX like sitting in spawn doing the thing, but. They're swapping around a lot.
I'm just saying, we've seen a decent amount of Bastion of Route 66, and I'm inclined to believe it is real, and I'm inclined to believe that Paddy Pan and Xavier have completely did this.
They have indeed. This is the, I don't know, this is the Russian meddling. This is
Jump
the
and enjoy right now.
Team comp.
Yeah, this is, put up that wall. Revealed. Oh, wow.
Oh, disgusting.
That could not have been more perfect.
GenX is just isolated, destroyed. Ambition just bails. He just charges back towards base like, nah, I'm out. Xeon Flux is going to try and go for a res, but it is all over. There's no way they can run this Bastion team comp. What they can do is now try and punish the Mei itself, but honestly, oh, jeez. If Patapan can keep this up, he could actually just have a Blizzard. At that point, it's hard to punish the Mei, and they just get another fight when they get even more mileage out of this pick.
That's incredible. I mean, the wall easily lifting only GNX up, and not only that, but then onto the high ground. Like, he doesn't even fall back to his own team. He ends up on that bridge section and just gets cleaned up like nobody's business. Xavier Esports, man. These guys are execution teams at this rate.
Patapan finds Bubble Kitty as well. He's about to have a Blizzard available. And there's an Earth Shatter through. I mean, this is just... It's Lijiang Tower all over again, but they have no right to be doing it here, right? There's not even a choke point that they're defending. This is just wide open ground that Incipience are funneling themselves into.
With nearly some downed members there because of a decent Bionet coming up from Fearless, but not decent enough to get the clean kills in. And here we can see the nano boost coming in for Ambition. Will take down THK, so it's something.
But Thittercorn can just raise that straight back up, but Incipience...
Well, they do have to push in to do that, but...
Yeah, I mean, they do have to around the backside. Is he actually going to... Oh, he is. Oh, God.
That's always BM.
Going in for the res on the back line, going to go full Ice Cube down, and still has the Blizzard, doesn't even need it. He's going to be able to pull all the way back to his team. And look at how far away from his team he was. He had no right getting out of there.
So frustrating to play against.
Great escape.
I mean, he freezes you up, gets a free kill, walks out of there.
Ah, rip Blizzard. Thittercorn really wants to res that one up, but that's a second grab now. Just
wow, that was a sleep dart.
Defense. Yeah, that was a pretty great sleep dart. Patapan is going to throw out the Blizzard now. Ambition does get powered up and he does get in there, but there's not a whole lot he can do. He does find Thittercorn, and that is a big boon. It means their kills that they make from here on out will stick. But look, a minute and a half, less than that even left, and Incipients are only just starting to get some kills in the pocket.
And admittedly, that was a decent line of play coming out from Ambition, receiving the nano boost, getting himself 3 kills, including basically a Goomba Stomp kill to Patapan as well, who at this sort of point needs to consider changing onto something else, and does onto the Doomfist. The Mei now not quite as effective in the rest of this map, especially not against the lack of the Bastion. It gets instant value as soon as it comes into the map.
That is incredible. Already looking to go Hunter Killer onto GNX as well. Forces him well back. Now he's spotting around. Oh, he's going for it. He's going for Fearless. Can he finish it off? Good. Fire grenade to come down. Patapan's in trouble for this one. Not going to catch that kill. The rest of Xavier, though, is still in this fight and still doing damage in it as well as GNX gets killed. Fearless, he didn't even see where that Earth Shatter came from. Just suddenly he's on the ground and then he's dead. Was that just like a one-man Earth Shatter?
Again, the worst kind of Earth Shatter. If it is a one-man, they want you bad.
Like, you know what? That guy in particular.
That guy's got to go down, and Patapan's back in the mix now. Xavier are bleeding out members, so as long as Incipients can maintain pressure, can maintain reinforcements, and a steady line of them, it can still get this cap through, but we're nearly into the overtime. In fact, you're expecting this to go to the overtime. Patapan just catches Xeon Flux out. You can't escape me.
Yeah, just absolutely slam dunk. Tay's going to get topped off as well, going to be just fine. And they're still just hemorrhaging members as we come into the closing stretches here. Slam dunk Fearless is having the most horrible game right now. Patapan just showing off at this point to close out the match. Au revoir, Incipients. We will see you in trials. Xavier, we will see you in playoffs as they finish off their regular season with a 4-0 win.
And their most commanding one yet as well. Patapan with the play of the game. To be expected, I think he was certainly, I want to say all 6 of the players, or 7 really, because they had substitutions of Xavier were MVPs. With Patapan in particular, we talked about the fact that this is a team that likes to run the GOAT shell, which is to say 5 out of the 6 picks for a typical GOAT's composition, and then Patapan will then flex onto what's required. And that can be weak as a strategy because it doesn't bring you the full value of the GOATs, but because the utility is so good, and because the execution of Xavier is so good, they make it work so well. And Xavier really, off the back of Patapan's ability to flex and get value and just execute those insane plays on those insane picks, has to be, you know, for me, like, he's the guy. He's the one that really, really showed up.
Hey, Kevin. GOATs in the shell.
That is a laugh out loud from me. A lol moment.
Just a lol moment. I like how I laughed out loud and you're just like, lol.
I described
Laugh
it.
out loud.
I described it.
Very efficient.
You did it, and I said you did it.
Appreciate that.
Goats in the shell.
But with that,
my Lord. Sounds even better when I say it.
Thank you. I'm glad that you said it because you're right, it does sound better. But yeah, with that, I mean, there you have it. They've been able to secure it, and I do actually want to touch on that Goats in the Shell just one last time because
Please do.
Because it's really satisfying to say. No, but in all seriousness, we talked about just how good they are at running the Goats comp as it is. I like seeing this sort of evolution thereof. I don't mean to say that this is this new, it's like this replacement, but what it is something that Xavier can do that right now the other teams haven't really done in the same way to the same effect. And like we're seeing a ton of flexibility. We're not seeing like the kind of pseudo Goats thing where they change up this and that and this support is different. It's a much more like true to the book kind of one, but with this one specific role that is flexing in and out to whatever it is they need for that situation.
I do want to mention this because Open Division Season 3 has opened up officially, and if you want to get in on that, go to the Play Overwatch website. You don't have to go to the ZHTW Chinese version. Go to the English one if you want. But basically, Open Div website, registration is now open. Closes 3 a.m. Tuesday, August 14th. Open to all skill ratings, and it is the pathway to get into Contenders. The top teams from Open Division, the top 4, will go into trials facing the 4 teams from here going into trials as well. Let's go to the standings now and get an update on exactly